related to, I guess, emotional and social symptoms.
They may not know are actually related. Most of the time, it sounds like they don't know.
Right. So, like, what are some of the ones, like a panic attack might come and go, but what are some of the long-term health problems that have set in due to this lifestyle, or like that you could draw a parallel to?
I can almost relate any condition to stress, panic, anxiety, depression. So the most common ones is, the ones that you would think of probably off the top are high blood pressure. So you can imagine, increased stress, being anxious all the time, that puts strain on your heart rate, on your blood vessels. Blood pressure goes up, heart rate goes up. So that's a pretty common one. High blood sugars can be attributed to stress and anxiety. Our hormones in our blood flow increase our glucose production, and so our sugar goes up when we're stressed. We talked a little bit about comfort eating before, not getting enough sleep, that contributing to obesity. From obesity stems almost everything else. So as simple as acid reflux, a lot of people don't necessarily relate that to stress and obesity, but that comes from that. A lot of cancers can be linked to stress and obesity, particularly breast, colon, a lot of those things. Alzheimer's, dementia, even.
Dang.
Stress related, like you would not
so
think.
So if
but
you're fat, you're screwed, is what you're saying. If you're fat, you're gonna die.
Do something about it. That's what she's saying.
Well,
do something.
And you got to just put the brakes on all stress. If you see stress, it sounds like you need to do something at that moment that you recognize as a de-stressor, and just do that.
But I think the bigger issue is that a lot of people don't realize. How do you pinpoint that if you're not feeling overwhelmingly stressed? If you can't pinpoint it, then, for those people out there that aren't feeling stressed, how do they know that they're stressed out?
This reminds me of a conversation we had maybe, I don't know, a year ago or so, and just the idea of like, I realized I was like having anxiety, like panic attacks. I'm like, sometimes I'll just be in my car, just sitting, like not working out, not doing anything stressful, and I just like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh my God, like I don't even know what's wrong with. Like I'll just be relaxing. I just all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I was like freaking out. And I'm like, there's no reason for me to be freaking out. Like I'm not in front of anybody. I could be by myself, but I'm just like, oh my, I like my body. I didn't have any control of my body. And Sharado and I had a conversation about it. She's like, yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. It's happened to me before, too. And, the idea that it kind of has happened more commonly as she's aged and had those experiences more often, where it's like you don't even have to be going through whatever you're going through at that moment. You can just be what you think relaxing, and your body is now doing something that you don't even know. It's reacting. Yeah. And your conscious mind is like, I'm fine. But your body is like, oh, hell no.
Right.
Something isn't right. So for me, I had to be like, okay, maybe not the best solution. Like, let me have a glass of wine. Let me
Famous last word.
Let me have a hot bath, like a nice bubble bath, light some candles, relax. I'm not much of a reader, but I'll try to read a little bit and just let that calm come over. And for me, that worked very well, where, not necessarily for everybody. That doesn't always work well. Some people might feel like they need to, start seeing a doctor and taking antidepressants or whatever, anti-anxiety pills, or having weekly counseling sessions.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the whole anxiety pill thing, Urbanista, because I think that in our community, it's looked down upon to take anxiety medication. And I'd love for the Dr. Nicole, to talk a little bit about that, because a lot of times men and women need anxiety medication, and instead they turn to alcohol that, maybe one glass that turns into 5 glasses, and then it becomes an addiction, versus a temporary fix like taking anxiety meds that can hold them over while they go through whatever that they're going through.
THC, Jolly Ranchers.
You are correct. So yeah, that's another thing that we, as a community, are getting a little bit better about, maybe accepting. But we know that studies show that medication plus therapy works. They work best together. They work better together than they do alone. However, that's not to say that everyone that walks in the door with panic, anxiety, depression, I throw a pill at them. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is just about getting that thing off your chest that you've been holding on to for years, or talking it out, doing more therapy, doing more exercise, meditation, whatever feels good to you, that's relaxing, yoga, whatever, getting it off your chest. Diary, right? Hey, okay.
Right, now,
whatever it is that helps you release that stress, doing that. Now, but also realizing that some people